Yes, thank you very much for that question on how to overcome pornography and masturbation addiction. And I want first to state that it's not willpower alone that will help you overcome that, but it's a combination of knowledge and skills on how to do it through a change of mindset that will help you to overcome any form of masturbation, any form of pornography, or even other forms of addiction. Willpower alone that I will to overcome that will not change. You have to gather skills and knowledge and also have a change of mindset so that you may be able to overcome any form of addiction. So when you are beginning or when you want to overcome pornography or masturbation addiction, you have to overcome the feeling of shame. Shame is the biggest cause of all major mental health disorders, because if you are afraid to talk about what is affecting you, you are just giving it a chance to consume you from within. So shame is a fear or a block to connecting to others. And if you're afraid about talking about something to other people, it means that you will not gather help. Remember, I always say that courage is acting even if you're afraid. And asking for help does not mean that you are a weak person. And actually, admitting that you need help, it's an act of courage. That means first you have overcome the greatest block, that is shame, and that becomes the first stage of you getting help. You know, the issue of sexual immorality is something that even the Bible talks against. If you are not married, then abstain from sex. Romans chapter 1 verse 16, the Bible says that let there be no clue about sexual immorality amongst you. So when we are talking about sexual immorality or overcoming sex addiction and masturbation and pornography, you know, I tend to take this as a course that is happening amongst you as youths, and it's a question maybe you have had or you know of people who are interested in overcoming it. So my advice is seek professional help about that. Just overcome that fear or shame, then you seek for help. And the first thing for you to overcome this form of addiction, one is to identify the triggers. What brings about the feeling of you having the needs or of having masturbation or having sex? What are the avenues? Is it environmental? Is it from social media? Are they websites that you have subscribed to? Is it friends? Then you have to bring up all the triggers. If it's secular music, if it's romantic movies, bring them into awareness. Note them down that these are what triggers me to be aroused, for you to masturbate, or for you to feel the need to have sex and you are not married. So when you realize them, then you act on them. It's if a website you broke them and you log out, you unsubscribe. If they are friends, you have to unfriend them and make them know that this is a process that you have started. I have said one, you have to overcome the fear. So it's friends, go head on to them, tell them you're starting on your healing process, you want to overcome this, and for the time being I'm not going to associate myself with you. So that means you are canceling all the triggers that leads you into that process. So the other thing is confessing. Confessing means is admitting that you need help. You know, acceptance, it's a key point that we talk about even when we are doing grief counseling. It's very important. So you have to confess to yourself or to your partner. If you're in a relationship, you confess that I need help. If it's to a counselor, you have to confess that actually I need help. Then confessing also means that you are asking for help. The other stage is getting an accountability partner. If you are really determined to heal by yourself, you need to get an accountability partner. If you used to masturbate 3 times in a day, you have this accountability partner who is a person you can trust. I prefer you make them your counselor. Let a counselor or a person who you know it's knowledgeable, or a person who can be able to uphold confidentiality issues, a person who will not go and talk about your issues outside there. So make them your accountability partner. Anytime you don't masturbate, let them know. If you masturbate, let them know. And let there be a reward process for you. So if today I make it to go through the whole day, I haven't masturbated, I haven't watched pornography, you report to them and they will reward you. And if you fall and you masturbate and you watch pornography, also you have a way of you dealing with that. Maybe it's a score box whereby you are given a mask 1 point for not masturbating, and you are not given any point for the masturbation process. And that brings us to the other issue of transparency. You know, if you have an accountability partner, you don't have to write them that actually you did not masturbate, and you masturbated. So transparency, it's a key point when you want to overcome all this. I know this addiction is something that is very difficult. That's why I'm telling you to seek help, and start the process with a counselor. Now, the other thing from transparency, then you have to study about purity. Your mind manifests what you feed itself with. So if you feed your mind with issues of romance, that's why it leads you to arousal. So if you want to overcome that, you have now to feed your mind with issues of purity. Study about purity biblically. Read books on how to maintain purity. In that now will be changing your mindset slowly by slowly, making you to start seeing life in a different perspective. That instead of you being instantly gratified by masturbating, now you turn into gratification, which is now a future gratification or a long-lasting gratification when you maintain purity, because there is repercussion. You can also join a support group. Maybe your counselor can recommend you to a group of people who are hearing from the same form of addiction, and then you join them, and you'll be discussing on issues that are affecting both of you in any way with the help of the counselor, and you will be able to overcome. And the other step is you identify the risk behaviors and draw boundaries. Risk behaviors, we said you identify them in the triggers. For example, what makes it risky for you to masturbate or to watch pornography? If it's using your phone in bed, just stop using your phone in bed. Just leave it at the sit room, go to your bedroom and sleep. If it's masturbation, do you masturbate in the evening? Do you masturbate in the morning, or when you are home alone? So you start now making sure when you're at home you have a friend, or if you masturbate in the morning, try waking up earlier and doing something constructive, or getting up from the house. If you used to masturbate immediately you wake up, you can now come into another lifestyle whereby immediately you wake up, you go and do some jogging, do some exercise, because that is energy that is in your body, and you have to expel it in a way. So you can do jogging. If it's movies that draws you near to that, now you have to stop watching those movies. Or if you watch a movie, let it be a Christian movie, or you watch it with a friend. So that means you are identifying the risky behaviors, and you are trying to draw boundaries. And the other thing is you can also recommend or that recovery to someone. You can say that I want to stop this process because I want to have a successful marriage. Because, for example, if you continue masturbating, your sexual life in marriage, it's already complicated, and it will be complicated. So it's something that is not good, that is not advisable for people who have plans of getting married in the future. So you can dedicate your recovery to someone or something. Then you can also have a self-reward technique. This is whereby now you reward yourself. Anytime you succeed in not masturbating or in not watching pornography, you reward yourself. You can buy yourself something nice. You can cook for yourself something nice. You just reward yourself and make yourself feel good for not doing that. Now, that is something you can overcome. By a change of mindset, you can overcome all forms of social challenges. Unless your mind is changed, that your heart moved towards something else, it's impossible for you to change your behavior. So that's why I'm emphasizing on a change of mindset. You have to first change your mind. Move your heart and mind from all the triggers and all the possible things and behaviors that makes you vulnerable to that behavior, and turn your mind and move your mind into something else. If it's a movie that you watch that makes you feel the needs or to masturbate or makes you aroused, make sure now you are not watching a movie that makes you aroused. And you can, maybe it's an action movie that has romance in it, so you can start watching Christian movie that triggers you more into spirituality, into prayers, into worship and etc. If it's time, maybe when you are home alone, that becomes a risky environment for you. Make sure you have a friend at home, or you go out, go to church, join the choir, join the youth groups, enjoy, play basketball. You know, you are now moving your mind first and your heart into other things, because you know that actively I have the will to change. So you have to combine knowledge and skills. Skills means you are now drawing lines and boundaries to all possible risky behaviors that makes you fall towards something that you are addicted to and you want to overcome. So first, let your mind move away from that environment, from all those risky behaviors, and your heart as well. Find something else that you can do to repress that behavior so that you may not even relapse. Do a lot of exercise, pray, go to church, go out with friends, be a social person, be in a relationship with someone. You know, and most of all, if you are addicted in those kinds of addiction, fear is the greatest problem. So make sure you overcome fear and shame. Talk about it with reliable people, with reliable friends, with a counselor, and you shall bring your healing process at bar, and you are going to start hearing. But most of all, as a spiritual person or as a Christian, I recommend you to turn into a spirituality. Also pray about it, and God will come through for you. But as you are praying, also seek knowledge and skills on how to overcome all those forms of pornography and masturbation addiction.